Hey everybody, and thanks for joining me and Liz under the Bleachers.
Special edition.
Yeah, you got us for a full 90 minutes tonight. This is very exciting. So, we have a lot to talk about since we weren't here last week, and of course we have to start off with the events that happened in Boston, which obviously was a tragedy at the Boston Marathon. And it's so shameful that such beautiful things stem from that. But definitely in the world of sports, we saw a few things.
Yeah, it's sad that it takes something like this for different teams, different cities to come together the way they did, but it really is just pretty awesome and magical.
Yeah, the first moment was the Bruins game, and it was the national anthem. The gentleman who started it basically sang the first line, handed it over to the crowd, and I mean, they were so loud and so into it, and it was so beautiful. It was just, I mean, it was one of those gorgeous moments. Like, you were so proud to be an American and to see everybody really come together like that.
It's also pretty impressive to hear so many people that actually know all the lyrics to the national anthem.
Yeah, that is true.
Christina Aguilera pointing at you. Just kidding.
Actually, when we went to, my friends and I went to the Devils Rangers game, the woman who usually sings the anthem, Arlette, I guess she had the flu or something, so, she said, oh, you guys are going to need to help me, and so, she started it out, and the rest of us, like, the whole crowd sang, and even my friend Billy said, like, they should do this at every sporting event, because it was gorgeous. It was awesome. And then, of course, Big Papi made his return.
Big Papi. I think there's just so much controversy, too, surrounding it, because he did drop the F-bomb, and I know kids are there and everything, but I'm just like, it's a sporting event and people get crazy and passionate and sometimes that stuff just comes out, and I think that the way it was said, it was really just a moment of real passion for your city and your fans, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, it is what it is. Let's move on.
Absolutely. I mean, I've met Papi a couple times, and he's just the most genuine, nicest, loves what he does kind of person. And I mean, in that moment, in those surroundings, and just, you can't deny the way you feel. So, I mean, yeah, he dropped a terrible word, a word that maybe little kids shouldn't hear, but I feel like it was appropriate for that moment. And I feel like, those people in the stands really got behind it. And I think it really kind of gave them like this boost that they needed.
Totally. And if you've ever been to Boston, you know that they're not shy with their, language.
That's true. And then, of course, Neil Diamond coming out and singing Sweet Caroline, which was pretty much
cool.
Also played in every arena throughout the country. But
it was cool because nobody asked him to come.
Yeah.
He just up and came by himself. And, I mean, obviously the sales for the song have just skyrocketed since the whole incident. And he's actually donating all the proceeds from the song since the bombings to the One Fund Boston. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I've been to Fenway a couple of times, and that's something I experienced even, before this whole situation, that whole Sweet Caroline vibe. And it is pretty cool how the crowd gets into it. I know you hate Boston.
No, I love the city Boston. I was just there. I was there a week before the marathon, and I had such an amazing time. It was my first time at Fenway, and I had, like, my friend and I, we had such a great time. It was raining, but we were undercover, and my only complaint was $8.50 for a beer, but we won't go there. I heard.
Wait, you're complaining about a beer at Fenway?
Yes,
and you're a Yankee fan.
I actually did the research, and Boston, the Red Sox, Fenway Park is actually the most costly beer per ounce.
Oh, okay.
If you do the math.
All right.
So, just saying.
I mean, we've been through that. You gotta go hard ahead of time. That's not buy them at the stadium. Fenway's gorgeous. Fenway, to me, Fenway and Wrigley, just like those old classic parks. I know they're brutal on the inside, maybe, but I love those kinds of places.
No, it's really cool. They could maybe use some cup holders. That's my own,
Yeah, I agree with that. Holders. Yeah, that was my issue too.
Because they have TV screens.
Yeah,
that's cool. You can obviously update a little bit.
Well, not for nothing, you and I just went to that Yankees game, and we were lucky enough to sit in those I don't even know what they're called.
championship
There we go. The
seats.
fancy seats. That's what I call them.
Awesome.
Yeah. But even then, what my first thing was like, no cup holders. I mean, they're in the arms, but if your cup's too small, it's weird. It just slides down.
Like when I put my water bottle in, it just fell right through.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, even the fancy seats need some help with the cup holders, I guess.
We are digressing a little bit.
So anyway, what stemmed from the tragedy that we do send our prayers and our warm wishes to everybody that was involved, did show some beautiful patriotism. So I'm very proud of everybody who stepped up in that regard. So let's discuss soccer. I'm going to let you take this one.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because we're talking about soccer for the first time on our show. And it's kind of a shame that it's stemming from this, but for those of you who don't know, Liverpool's Luis Suarez is currently suspended for 10 games for biting another player in a match. And this is not the first time he's done this.
Now, I heard about this. I read about it on Twitter and all that stuff, but where did he bite? Like, how did this even happen?
Okay, I think it was a corner kick. So they're all setting up, and there's a lot of like scrummaging around when people are setting up for a corner kick. You're kind of, one team is like running to get a good field position, and then you got the people on the other team chasing them around, trying to stick with them. Everyone's got a man to stick to. And he just up and bit another player on the arm. It was like the forearm, like upper arm, I guess I should say, bicep area. And it's just, you just don't do that.
No, I would say
you can't do that. He's done it before. So this guy is a repeat offender.
The last time I bit somebody, I think I was 7,
right.
And my cousin dragged me away from the park, and I made her bleed, and it was really a big mess. It still caused problems.
Right, because one of the first things you learn in school, at home, is you don't bite other people, because that gets you in trouble. That doesn't get you anything positive. So, okay, so let's kind of go through his history, because he really does have a bad reputation. He was banned 7 games in 2010. For biting.
Now, can I just ask a question? Mm-hmm. I'm dumb to soccer. The only soccer I follow is like the World Cup, or when somebody says USA is on, then I'll watch it.
Yep.
Like, how many games are in a season, or are there not seasons? I don't really know how this works.
Ooh, it's hard to say because there's so many things going on with soccer. There's obviously the World Cup and Euro Cup; those are every 2 years, and then there's a lot of different league play. So was he just suspended from like 10 games overall? That seems like a lot. I don't know a lot about soccer, but that seems like a lot. I think it's a lot. I don't know in the grand scheme of things how many games there are total, but 10 games is, I think, still quite a bit. Enough that the Liverpool league team, they said that they were shocked about this ban or suspension, whatever you want to call it, but he's already been through this before in 2010, 7 games. And he was suspended 8 games in 2011 for, they say it's called racially abusing another player on Manchester United at the time. There was like this whole like court hearing for the league about it, and that's what they decided on, even though I guess they decided that he wasn't a racist with malintent, but it was just the way it came out, and I don't know, all this stuff. But he's been suspended a lot over the past few years.
That's insane. For like the same thing, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put the 2011 incident aside. You bit someone before,
right?
And you know that you can't do that. I just don't get it.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That's crazy. So I guess is he like a younger guy or an older guy?
He's like somewhere in between.
There's potential for this to happen again, basically.
The thing is that he's like one of the best players.
Okay.
He's, I would say, arguably the best player on the Liverpool team. So you're really just hurting your team.
That's horrible.
By doing such stupid things.
If you're his teammate, don't you pull him over and like say, dude, can you maybe not bite somebody today? Like, do you think that happens? I don't know. And
it really kind of bugs me too in respect that obviously football, European,
are we going?
worldly football is really like struggling still to take off in America. It's getting there, like slowly but surely, but it just kind of gets like a bad reputation sometimes, and that hurts me because I'm Portuguese. I grew up with soccer. My dad was a coach. My brother played, so I actually dabbled in soccer for like a year, and that didn't go very well, but we won't talk about that.
I played for a little I played for a couple years when I was little.
When you're young, I feel like it's definitely like big when people are like little and thinking about like little like kid leagues to join. But
I definitely think it's becoming more popular though, because I scroll through my Twitter for 24 hours a day basically, but I guess like there's a lot of big games all the time and I have no idea what anybody's talking about, but I mean it seems like a lot of my friends are into it. So
it's definitely growing, but then you have this negativity around the game just because there are a lot of players that are so big on diving and just acting, and this guy's one of them. He's one of like the worst offenders when it comes to that. And then you add biting to the rap sheet, and it's just like, why?
Yeah.
But so that kind of just.
Well, I'll definitely be watching this guy now after he comes back after these 10 games.
You're not.
What? What?
You're not the only one.
Oh yeah.
Mike Tyson is following him on Twitter after he like heard about the incident.
That's fitting. Awesome.
Mike Tyson's funny because when asked about it on a radio show, he was just like, well, I read about it, and I'm intrigued by this guy, because, stuff happens, and he didn't say stuff, but I'm, what's the word, censoring it. And so, and yeah, okay, stuff does happen, but this is not just, the boxing match, I think, was, like, completely different, because it's still unacceptable, but two guys, boxing, you kind of, like, tend to get into those long bear hugs, you're exhausted, and you're all over each other. I said it was unacceptable, but he's really only hurting himself when he bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. He really was just hurting himself.
I don't know. Ask Evander that question, because it probably hurt him too.
Well, right. Yes. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Yes, he hurt him too. But I mean, in this case, you are basically, this guy Suarez, he is hurting his whole team by his action, not just himself and his own reputation.
Absolutely.
But his team's chances of winning any kind of championship.
Yeah, or this is all a crazy marketing ploy, because like I said, when he comes back, I'll be watching this team now, to see what happens. So, good job, Liverpool.
You're not going to be watching.
No, I'll watch the first game, and then I'll just let you tell me the rest. I probably wouldn't even watch the first game. Who are we kidding? So, let's get on to my favorite, basketball. I actually cannot believe that the other day, and again, I'm like, I'm a victim of Twitter, because whatever's going on Twitter, that's what I have to catch up and see what's happening myself. And I actually turned on playoff basketball. A little bit of the Knicks game, and I turned it on, and I really tried, because all the Knicks fans were going crazy. Mellow, that's like every tweet, Mellow with 1,000 O's. All right, so I guess that's the cool thing. But I mean, there were more stoppages and more time not played in like the 10 minutes I had that on than there was actual playing. So I just couldn't. I tried. I really gave it a valiant effort, guys. I know you want me to like basketball, but it's just not going to happen. So,
was it like the last like 10 minutes of a half per se? Because definitely the last 2 minutes of each half are by far the worst, most stoppages.
Yeah.
So many fouls.
You know what? I don't even know. But
I used to cheer for basketball. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
But you know what? It is actually, it's kind of exciting because, both the Knicks and the Nets are in it, so it's nice to see. And the Knicks are, they're playing Boston, and that's kind of a tough situation right now, because you don't want to be, even as a fan, you don't want to be too, over aggressive with your cheering right now in that series. A little bit, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think with New York and Boston, when it comes to basketball, I don't think that there is that much animosity. And maybe that's because the Knicks really haven't been that great. And but Boston's been in the playoffs, I don't know, countless number of years, and so it's exciting to see the Knicks up 2-0 in the series.
It is, and I see, a lot of fans are obviously genuinely happy about it, so good for them, and I'm glad they get to see that. And then the Nets are playing Chicago now. Of course, when this whole started, I said go Bulls, only because Chicago is like my second home. So I genuinely don't know anything. I know Derrick Rose basically has set out the entire season, which, tangent, did you see that? I saw this the other day. Somebody is suing Derrick Rose, so I guess is that their best player. Again, my basketball knowledge. But guess he's basically like their stud and hasn't played because he's been injured, and I guess it's just on him whenever he wants to come back. So this one fan is suing him because the fan didn't like get into basketball and he sat home and got fat. Hello, hello. In what world does like a lawyer even say, "All right, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do this"?
I can't even reply to that because I know that there are so many dumb lawsuits that people have actually won, and it's just crazy.
Feel like I might go after the Devils just to get like a little antidepressant prescription after this year. We'll get to that later. But,
absolutely. I'm going to sue the Rangers for my like hypertension.
There we go. But it
high
is
blood pressure.
So the Nets are tied right now, and I think good on them. And I'm kind of almost out of the two local teams. I really want to see them succeed because they're kind of the underdog. You know, this is very much a Nick town and Nick area. I get that. And, you know, it's nice to see the team made the move to Brooklyn. You weren't sure how they were going to do. And, you know, they're doing well and they made the playoffs and, you know, good for them. I don't know if people expect them to go far, but I think, no, you don't. What?
Go ahead.
I just think it's nice. I'm a little like, I like the little underdog thing going on. So
I think the Knicks are still the underdog. So listen, I like to root for the home team unless it's the Jets or the Devils. But I'm all on board with the Knicks, and I'm not hating on the Nets, but
all right, I'll go Nets locally.
All right, you go ahead and do that. But I guess a little bit of my heart is still tied to the Bulls for some reason. The last time I was like, truly interested in NBA basketball, I did like the Bulls. It was when Scottie Pippen was playing. He's my boy.
Oh, so, yeah.
I don't know.
I just saw him. If you guys don't know, I also, during the day, I work in sports marketing, work with a lot of athletes, whatever, that's not the point. But the last show, Scottie Pippen was there. He seemed pretty nice, listen, I don't care what kind of player you are, I judge you solely on how you interact with fans. Seemed really great with the fans, seemed really nice. And who else I met from that team was Tony Kukoc.
Oh,
and
nice.
He was such a doll. Like, now I almost wish that I was into basketball when I was little and watched him play because he was just so nice. Like, and you know, you don't get that very often. And I don't work with basketball players per se very often, so I didn't know what to expect, but loved him. So now I'm a big fan of his. I'm gonna get a throwback jersey now. No, I'm just kidding.
Whatever, Grandma. Use the word doll.
That's like my word. Thank you. And then, yeah, let's mention the Lakers. Kobe's out, obviously.
Well, Kobe's out. I think Nash is out. Who else is out? They've got, like, nobody. Blake gone. So, I mean, they're looking pretty desperate right now. They're down 0-2 versus the Spurs. And, I mean, let's talk about Coach Kobe on the couch.
It's crazy that, you know, the fans, you know, your team's down 2-0 in the series, and everybody focuses on Kobe tweeting during the first game because he was watching from home. And why? I mean, now what do you think? Do you think him tweeting during the game is wrong or right?
I don't think it's wrong or right. I counted. There was 11 tweets from him during the game. And I guess my opinion is that there are probably millions of wannabe coaches sitting on their couch tweeting and Facebooking during games. You and I have both seen this in our daily lives.
That's what I do.
He is such a public figure, especially, you know, he's tweeting about his own team. Kind of think it's a little unnecessary. I think if he wanted to tweet, should be more of a cheerleader type.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he needs to take that time to be critical of his team publicly. If he tweeted stuff like, all right, come on, boys, we can do this, you know, I mean, maybe that's a little bit more acceptable, but
he definitely ticked off his coach.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like very like innuendo type comments that the coach was making after the game, but it didn't fall on deaf ears because Kobe chose not to tweet the next game. So.
Right, exactly. So, hey, you know what? I mean, I don't dislike Kobe in any way, shape, or form, really. So, I mean, I don't think it was necessarily malicious what he did. He just, you know, in these days, you know, this day and age or whatever, you just have to be so conscious of every word that you throw out as a public figure.
Absolutely. So. He makes me laugh. I guess he's just like such a big Twitterer.
Yeah, I don't follow him, so
he is.
You know
He
how
is.
it is
And
for me.
the coach said something to the effect of, well, you know, Kobe's right now, he's a fan. And Kobe put, fan, LOL. Oh boy, that's going to be a fun reunion.
My goal now, since he's such a big tweeter, is to get him to answer me. That's my new mission. I'll let you know how that goes.
I know. You know what's funny is it's hard to, I don't want to follow all of these athletes, but it is hard to go searching for stuff that they've, you know, posted on Twitter or Facebook without actually following them.
Yeah. Oh, talk about Twitter mistakes. Hope Solo tweeted out her phone number the other day.
No.
Now, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with how much I love her, but you know, I don't even follow her on Twitter. All of a sudden, somebody else retweeted it. You know, a screenshot
of it. That was sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah, they would have caught on eventually. But the best part is, and I mean, I don't understand how everybody doesn't know this. Once you put something on the internet, it is there forever. She then proceeded to call her fans fools, I think, or she, you know, used some negative term to her bazillion fans on Twitter because they started texting her and all that stuff. And she was like, oh, haha, you fools, it was up here for 2 seconds, you don't have my new number now. Okay, well, everybody has screenshots of it, so I'm pretty sure she had to go to AT&T in 30 seconds and get a new number. So really, the joke's on you. But you know, whatever. I enjoyed Twitter for like 3 minutes. It was awesome.
Okay, well,
now
so we have a few minutes before the draft starts, and we're about to talk about football. Maybe we should take just a quick little commercial break.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right, hang in there. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hey guys, we are back, and I just want to actually point out that if you've noticed that we haven't had any technical difficulties today, it's because we have a lovely intern with us. Her name is Samantha, and dun dun dun, she is a Patriots fan, so it got really interesting in here.
Actually, I mean, it didn't even get that interesting
for
me.
No, it's going to.
Okay. You have to be nice to her. Making our show float.
We have
smooth.
We have Giants, Bears, and Patriots in this room. I mean, this is...
It'll get interesting when the season starts. But speaking of football, it's actually time pretty much right now. Football draft is starting. And
draft day!
I guess basically this... Now, okay, I'm just going to be upfront with you guys. I don't follow college football in any way, shape, or form. The only time I ever really know about who's coming up through the draft is when they really, spotlight some of the talent. Like, the last couple of years seems to be a pretty good couple of years. This year seems to be pretty terrible from what everybody is saying. So, yeah. I don't know anybody that's going to go in the first round. You know, I don't even... Maybe the first or second.
Sure you do.
Oh, Manti.
Oh,
yeah, we'll get to that in a hot second. But, probably the most fun thing that I already saw from the draft were those, that Sanders character that they're doing all the commercials about, the first draft pick guy or whatever. There was 4 guys dressed up like him that showed up at the draft. So good on them. They already made it on a couple websites. It's probably the biggest story out of tonight. So
what I was watching actually earlier today on ESPN was just kind of backstage view of what some current NFL players have gone through waiting on draft night, and they actually showed the wait time for some very well-known players like Gronkowski and Roethlisberger. You know, they showed him there, and seeing him all young and fresh-faced was kind of just really funny and surreal, and it's just, you kind of feel bad for these guys, you know, some of them don't get the call that they're waiting for, and so I guess it could be very just exciting and nerve-wracking, and for us, just...
I mean, I can't even, on something on that scale, you know, when you're waiting for any kind of news, how you feel. So, I mean, and then, I don't really understand, the sitting in a hotel room thing. Wouldn't you just kind of want to be at home, where you're comfortable? I don't know. But, so a lot of young guys going through a lot of...
I would definitely rather be at home. That would be number one. And then maybe a hotel room. But last of all, I would definitely not want to be in that waiting green room.
Oh, yeah, no. Absolutely not. Because if my name was not called, I would be shedding tears left and right. I didn't care who see it at all.
Absolutely.
So, before you mentioned the name, Manti, and I had a somewhat nervous breakdown before because I got a message on my phone telling me that it looks like the Bears were going to try to get him, and that the Vikings are also going after him, so they might trade up so they can get a higher draft pick and take him from us. Now, some Bears fans are saying that it's not going to happen. You know, it probably won't. And oh my goodness, as a Bears fan, I do not want this to happen.
Is it just the drama associated with him?
I mean, yeah, and I know that's weird, and I know that you shouldn't base a pick on that kind of stuff versus how he plays, but and as with any draft pick, you're taking a chance. You don't know how they're going to play when they get to the big game, and what he's going to bring to the table behind him is just ridiculous. I mean, look at the Jets last year with your man, I know, Tebow. Yeah, but when he came to town, he brought a lot of cameras with him, and I'm not saying that that's the reason that they didn't do well, or that's the reason that Mark Sanchez didn't do well, but that's a lot of distraction every day, and that's a lot of, fake answers that you have to come up with, and I just don't think that the trouble is worth it. I think this year for the Bears, they finally have a good team in place. The media is already constantly over Jay Cutler because everybody hates him. So that coupled with the whole Manti Te'o story, I just don't think it's something that they need in Chicago.
I think the whole catfishing thing caused a lot of uproar, and, everyone wants to know about this guy's personal life and everything. But I still think that he's a really solid player, and in terms of rookies and middle linebackers, I think that he's definitely somebody that a lot of teams are possibly thinking about drafting him. I think that the Giants are on that plate as well. So I don't know. I mean, I see like the good and bad to it, and I'm coming around more to him just because I think that all of the drama of his personal life is kind of dying down, and I think that it'll be more, whatever team he goes to, maybe be more about the kind of abuse that he takes from his teammates in the locker room.
Yeah. If the team has a good PR department, they could definitely spin it into more of a fun situation and kind of make light of it, I guess. And that's probably a good way to get the media off your back, at least.
Well, the thing with the whole Tim Tebow thing was that you really got the sense that the Jets brought him on for that very reason.
Right.
To create that media frenzy, to put more bodies into the stadium.
That is true, which obviously did not work at all. And can you even believe that?
Not when you don't play him at all.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Or you put him in there for one play or whatever. Oh, that whole situation is still weird. And it's still weird that he's still on the team. He's still a Jet.
I know he's still, because I think the Jets are going for a record of how the most quarterbacks you can have on a team.
Absolutely, 100%.
And still have a big question mark as to who is actually going to be starting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted a few quarterbacks tonight, just for fun, just for kicks.
That would be so awesome. I would love to see that.
Mark Sanchez probably home, like, praying that they don't bring another person on.
Or maybe he's praying that they will. Like, please, I just want to get paid. I don't want to play next year. That's fine. But I mean, that's what I would pick at this point.
That's really funny.
But so we'll keep an eye on the draft, see who goes when. I guess they're doing all the show shenanigans now.
I think it'd be pretty cool because the Giants have number 19 right before the Bears. It'd be pretty funny if they snaked Manti Te'o.
I don't care. You can.
I know you don't care. I don't really care either way either. But we do need a middle linebacker though. We definitely need support in that area. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Who else do you guys need that you still don't really technically have, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Nobody else seems to want him, and
which I think is just so weird. They don't,
because they'd have to give up draft picks.
Yeah.
And they'd have to be paying him a good amount of money.
Yeah.
So the latest with that is that the Giants, I think, reportedly offered him $8 million. Still not, what was it, the $11 million he was asking for?
Yeah, whatever.
Something
11 to 12,
like
it would have made him the highest paid, but
yeah. But you know what? I think even at $8 million, he would be the second highest paid Giant, right under Eli.
Right.
So I just think that the Giants camp still feels very hopeful that they're going to settle this. At this point, it kind of seems like, well, he's going to have to take something, or he's not going to play.
Yeah, that's true. It's either going to be
play, right?
It's going to be the $8 million, or it's going to be a significantly huge pay cut and like on just under $2 million or whatever for the year. So, but actually, Eli was on Jimmy Fallon last night, or no, 2 nights ago, I guess. I don't know.
Why didn't you tell me
it was on It was on my DVR. I recorded. I don't even know when it was on. Sorry, I did mean to tell you. But number one, I was surprised that Eli had somewhat of a personality. Because I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna fast forward. I was gonna skip right over because it said that Reese Witherspoon was gonna be on. You know, I wanted to get to her. But I did stick around and watch, and he was like funny, and he was, you know, way more talkative than I thought he was going to be.
Haven't you seen his Oreo commercials with Peyton?
That's because Peyton is in them.
No, he's funny.
It's because Peyton is in them.
No,
Peyton brings out the best in Eli when it comes to acting ability. And then actually I was surprised too. You know, they played a stupid game. Jimmy Fallon threw these like dishes up into the air and had Eli, you know, hit the target or whatever. Oh my goodness. I thought he was going to take off like somebody's head with like the broken plate pieces. Like he was like on last night, but
wait, what?
He was having like clay shooting. He was saying pull, and then Jimmy was throwing the plates up in the air, and Eli was hitting
a gun.
No, with football.
Okay. Yeah. Makes more sense now.
It was actually the whole situation was entertaining to watch. So go YouTube that if you're.
What was his like record with the?
I think he missed one plate. Yeah,
that's my boy.
I was pretty surprised, but he said that, you know, because Jimmy grilled him about the whole Victor Cruz thing, and he said, you know, no, we're definitely gonna have him. He'll be back. So. You know, I guess he's not really too concerned about it, and he said that he wants him back, obviously. So I guess that they will, you know, take care of that very soon. But yeah, while we're on football too, the schedule was released. So
yay!
I am
so excited
for this season. I mean, I'm excited for every season, but this is like a sensory overload for me as a Bears fan on the East Coast.
So yeah, what matches are you looking forward to? And not necessarily just Bears games, but other teams as well.
Well, the only ones that not the only ones, but the ones that I'm looking forward to the most are the Bears are playing in Pittsburgh, so I will be there for that weekend with a Pittsburgh fan, so that should be extra awesome. And then the Bears are going to be in Philadelphia. I'll go see them there again. I saw them there, I think, 2 seasons ago. And Philadelphia is a scary place to see any game.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe it.
Essentially the worst city to go to ever, especially as an opposing fan. But that did not stop me from wearing my bright orange shirt into that stadium. So I will do that again this year. So, and I think they're playing Washington again too. But so I get to see them a couple times. I'm so excited. And then the other
what week are they playing Washington?
Actually, I'm not sure. I didn't write it down because I think I can't go that weekend, or I'm not sure if I can go that weekend. So
I was just gonna ask if it was early in the season, you know, because RG3 will probably not be playing.
He will be playing. If you guys aren't aware, we have a bet about RG3's health, which we'll get into at a later date and give you an update on that. But then the other games, again, I only care about the games that I want to go to. Saints, they're playing the Jets. I love Drew Brees. I'm head over heels for him as an athlete and as a human being. He's amazing. I love watching him play. We got to go see him play against the Giants last year, so that was awesome. And then Peyton Manning and Eli Manning.
Well, obviously.
I am super excited for that.
That's the only thing I really care about, Manning Bowl.
Yeah.
I went to the last one in Indy, and it was fantastic, aside from the Giants really getting their butts handed to them.
I'm excited because
really trampled over little brother, but I think it's going to be a better matchup this time around.
The thing is, I guess I have a thing for quarterbacks. I don't know, but I mean, I just absolutely adore Peyton. Like, I think obviously it's always in talks that he's, you know, one of the best to ever play. So getting a chance to finally see him live, oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited for that. So those are the games that I care about, and I'm super stoked that I can make those ones. So, yeah.
I definitely want to go see Manning versus Manning for obvious reasons, but I'm worried about ticket prices.
Oh, yeah. Ticket prices are going to be stupid they're just stupid for all these games anyway, but I don't even care. I'll sell my first child. That's fine.
But you know what other matchup I actually am kind of intrigued to see is the one between, you mentioned quarterbacks, and I'm intrigued to see the matchup between the 2 highest paid quarterbacks for 2013.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So Green Bay versus Baltimore.
Absolutely.
I'd love to, I know that, we both know that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco.
Obviously.
But I just want to see them spank them just for fun.
You want to see who?
Green Bay.
No, no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, because you have personal reasons against that.
I know. It would be really awesome if just the total weaker, terrible quarterback comes in and beats Aaron Rodgers.
No, because that would kind of just dismiss everything that we said about Joe Flacco not being worth all the money that he's being paid.
It could be the only game that they win that season.
Womp.
Okay?
Womp. I like Aaron Rodgers. I would like to go see that. Ooh, is it in? No, I think it's in Baltimore. I was gonna say, let's go to Green Bay.
No, I don't go to Green Bay. Like, that doesn't happen. Sorry. And it's cold there. No, that's not gonna happen. So anyway, go Ravens on that one. So I guess let's discuss, because we can't escape it, the Jaguars' new uniform and their whole rebranding, and I guess the Dolphins are doing it too. But for some reason on my Twitter feed, it's all about the Jaguars.
Yeah, well, because theirs is the more recent, and they had the unveiling of the jersey on Tuesday, I think it was. And I actually like the new jerseys. I like the black for away. You don't like it?
I hate it.
No, I think it's alright.
I hate the helmet with the matte finish.
Oh, I don't like the helmet.
Yeah.
But I like the actual jersey.
I hate the numbers, like the font type. I'm also like a graphic design geek. So, like, I don't know, I think some fonts are really sexy, and I don't think that the ones that they used are, like, I don't know, I think
they were going for, like, spiky kind of numbers to be, like, fangs, like Jaguar fangs.
But see, it just kind of reminds me of...
stuff up right now.
I just ignore it at this point. I'm like, okay, sure, fangs. At this point, but, like, it kind of reminds me almost of, like, the Ravens numbers, because they're kind of pointy, too. And you know what the funny thing is? I bet you no other guys have even paid that much attention. So nobody else is probably, noticing stuff like that we would. But I don't think they're that aesthetically pleasing. I don't love them.
Breaking news, just to interrupt before we go into the Dolphins, because I do want to talk about the Dolphins real quick. But
okay.
We have our first pick. So number 1 pick was Eric Fisher for Kansas City Chiefs. Yay.
Yay,
Yay, Kansas City. I actually have a cousin who is a diehard Chiefs fan, so hope that works out for you, buddy.
Okay, and then what do you want to say about the Dolphins?
It's like a quote-unquote rebranding. At least the Jaguars actually...
Can you say that word again?
I said it really stupid. Jaguars.
Okay. Sorry.
You don't interrupt my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dolphins. I'm on it.
So at least they had a real rebranding. Like, they really changed it up. The Dolphins logo was such a weak attempt at a change, and I don't know. I actually like the old one where it was just goofy with the dolphin with the helmet.
Oh yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Like, I feel like the dolphin. Okay, obviously, who's going to be scared of a dolphin,
right?
But
that's not what they were about.
No, I know, but
Miami, it's fun.
I guess, yeah, absolutely, and I did like the. I had a Dolphin starter jacket in my fifth. Oh, see? Awesome. So the Dolphins knew how to brand back then, let me tell you. But, I feel like it's getting more and more little kiddish, kind of. Like, more again, it's a dolphin. I don't know what you can do with it, but they're making it look like, remember, like, those Lisa Frank stickers? Yes. Like, that's why I feel like it belongs in there. Like, oh, okay, here's your glittery sticker to put on your helmet. Awesome.
I know. It's funny. I don't get it.
Yeah. So good luck with that, guys. Let us know how the whole branding thing works out for you. I'm just so happy that, like, the Bears just stick with the C. There's really not much. They haven't, that's the logo. That's it.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. So
we don't even have a mascot. So, and I'm okay with that. I like it. What would you do with a giant? Just get, like, a really big person.
Yeah. I'm sure there's, like, a couple of guys that are already in the stands, but So, you want to mention your boy on Dancing with the Stars?
I do. Jacoby Jones is my man.
I don't watch the show, but you talk week after week, and you've been talking about how great he is.
And you said yourself the first time I told you this that you loved him.
Oh, because I had seen his interviews, and he is just crazy. Like, the stuff that comes out of his mouth is nuts.
And he has a son, which is adorable, by the way, because he brought him on one show. But I keep thinking about the first dance that he did. Afterwards, he's so out of breath, and the host is just questioning him about him being out of breath, and he's like, there ain't no play in the NFL that lasts a minute and a half. I just thought it was so awesome the way he said it, and he just like he's a great dancer, by the way.
Is he?
But that just seems to be a trend with football players,
right? Which all started with my boy Emmett Smith, and he was on the first season. That was so great.
Emmett has. Yeah,
I voted for him. Like, me and my cousin literally just sat on our, like, well, we were really cool, like, 5 or 6 years ago, but we just would, like, sit on our couch and, like, vote for him, like, whatever the maximum amount of time was, like, 10 times or 15 times. We, like, re-registered, whatever. He won. It was totally because of us.
Yeah, well, I definitely think Jacoby is going to go far. I don't know how tall his partner is. She's got to be something like, you know, maybe like 5'5" or so. So not the tallest, but the other day he actually leaped over her, like did like a split leg jump in the air, like he just like from the floor, didn't even use her shoulders or anything to kind of leverage himself. He just flew over her.
That's crazy.
It was insane. She was standing straight up, and I was like, whoa.
I might have to look that up.
It was pretty awesome.
Now, that just leads to, like, if you're a retired football player, okay, but now let's say that he got hurt on that. You know, now what? I mean, so should they allow current players to even be on stuff like that? I mean, that's a big time, you know, that's a big deal. I
guess it is. Again, he's playing a team sport, so it's like you have an obligation not just to yourself in that case. But I don't know. There's a lot of other players doing really dumb stuff on their free time.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
True. Oh, speaking of, we do like Eric Decker. We're fans of his.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's getting a reality show, him and his fiance. They're getting married in 2 months. I'm sorry that... God, this is important. Everybody needs to know this.
Ryan Lochte has a reality show, too, but...
That boy should not have a reality show.
Well, true.
Oh, my goodness. He is not the smartest boy I've ever seen on TV. I mean, granted, I did watch it, and I probably will continue to watch it. But, yeah, so these athletes are really getting involved now. But I'm excited to watch the Eric Decker one because I follow him on Twitter and his fiance, and, you know, they do a lot. Like, he was just at a school the other day, and I think they're, like, you know, they're fun together or whatever, and I guess she's some kind of country singer and stuff. I don't know. I think they'll be cool to watch. They seem like real down-to-earth people, so...
But, like, what's it going to be about? Just, like, following them around? I guess that's what every reality show is about.
I'm just hoping to see Peyton on it at some point.
Not going to happen, because when he's not busy with football, he is busy with Papa John's.
It's true.
He's not sponsoring us in any way, by the way.
Yeah. Although if they want to send us some freebies, that'd be awesome. Do you know that I think I call my father Papa Bear because of the Peyton Manning commercials where he's like, reroute! Call Papa Bear. I'm pretty sure that like a year ago they started, and that's when I started calling my dad Papa Bear.
That's a funny commercial. I'm shaking my head at you, though.
I'm just saying. I think that's where it came from. My whole life I didn't do it. But so anyway, so we'll keep you posted as the draft goes on and see who else goes where. Any other names that I recognize anyway, or any other teams that maybe we care about. So I guess it's time to move on to hockey, which I have an announcement. The Rangers were up 2-0, and now Carolina has just tied it at 2-2.
All right, well, don't get too excited. Still tied. Still tied.
There's still plenty of game left.
Just because the Devils are booted from the playoffs.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah,
I'm just giving score updates here. I don't understand why you had to jump right down my team's throat there.
It wasn't what you said. It's the way you said it. It's your face as you looked at me when you said it.
Okay, Mom.
Which is evil.
So, yeah, I guess let's start off with the other day. We were watching the game at your house. It was the Devils against the Rangers. And the game itself, I mean, because the Devils just started out so poorly and it was pretty much a blowout, it got boring.
It was pretty boring.
Until the end when Pete DeBoer got thrown out for yelling at the refs.
Okay, did you ever find out what happened?
Yes. Okay. Here's the story. So... I didn't know this at the time. I mean, who pays attention to who's reffing the game, you know, as the game's going on? But the one guy, last year in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals, like the Devils had just won 2 in a row. Like they really looked like they were going to make a comeback. And then one of the Devils got a penalty against him, and it was essentially like a 5-minute penalty where the Kings could just score as many goals as they want in that 5 minutes. We weren't going to get our guy back. So the Kings scored the 3 goals, and then essentially, the Devils lost, and because there's just no coming back or something like that. So that same referee was in the game, this last Saturday. So there was a lot of yelling at the refs. And there were a lot of penalties called against the Devils as well. And some of the calls were definitely questionable. You get that in every game. But, Pete DeBoer said that he just couldn't understand how some of them were so oversensitive. So I would love to hear, our coach is probably the most mild-mannered, doesn't say anything, complete opposite of the Rangers coach. And he got thrown out with 16 seconds left. So I would have loved to hear what he said, but I'm sure that had something to do with it too, the fact of who it was. So that was interesting. So needless to say, the Devils are knocked out of the playoffs, and the Rangers were the ones to do it. But at the same time, here's my thing. Okay. I deal with a lot. Yeah, I'm not making excuses, but we were going to get knocked out of the playoffs anyway. So it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, I'm not taking, I'm not saying that the Rangers should take credit, really, for knocking you out, because I don't think that the Devils were going to make it anyway. But, let's talk about what happened to the Devils this season.
Well, hold on 1 second. I want to just say that here's my issue, and this is why I have been praying to the hockey gods, because the Rangers fans chanted, season's over to the Devils. Okay. Your season is still up in the air. I'm sorry, I'm not attacking you right now. I'm just saying Rangers fans in general.
Well, let them revel for a few minutes before they get their butts kicked against. Who did they get their butts kicked against the other day? I can't even remember.
This is the absolute best part. So now tonight's games, Rangers are playing Carolina. Winnipeg is playing Montreal. Winnipeg is up right now 1-0. Winnipeg wins. Rangers lose. It comes down to the next Devils-Rangers game.
Yep.
That is going to be insane. I might have to drop whatever stupid money is, because, that's going to be...
No, you can't do that because I'm working on Saturday and I can't go with you.
Oh, that's really... Yeah, I can't go by myself. There's no way I would show up wearing red there. But no. So this potentially has, could get really, really interesting.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Tonight's
not over.
All right, exactly. But I'll be watching the games. All right. But yeah, let's... my poor little Devils. It was so sad.
All right, let's talk about them. Because I want to know, what your take is, what happened. I have some questions for you.
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to say that, I'm okay with not making the playoffs, but if it were going to be any season, it was going to be this season. Because as much as Zach Parise doesn't exist to me anymore,
Go on.
He doesn't exist to me anymore. That was a big loss that, the Devils kind of had to work out and get over. And they had a new captain going into the season. It was also a shortened season, obviously, which, not for nothing, I have been hearing since 1995 that shortened season Stanley Cups don't even count. So, props to the next person that's going to win them, just so you know.
That's just ridiculous.
It doesn't count. And then, I hate to use this as an excuse as well, but, the Devils were just plagued by injuries from the beginning of the season. It wasn't just, Kovalchuk went down, and that was when they kind of lost everything. No, we started off without Zubris, and then actually we started the first few games without Henrique, and then Brodeur went down, and then Kobe went down, and then Salvador went down. And when a player goes down like that, or a couple players go down, the thing about hockey is, it's something in baseball. One player goes down, you fill him with another player, that's kind of it. In hockey, one player goes down, well, now every line gets changed. And so if you take our line of Gianta, Bernier, and Carter, who is just totally electric when they're together, they're still great guys and they have a lot of depth, but when they're playing on other lines or, now they're asked to play the first line, just not what they're used to. So the Devils had a lot of up and down and line changes this season to deal with. So it was just, it is what it is. At least it didn't come down to the last day and then, I had to worry if they were going to make it or not. It was pretty much coming, and I accepted it. It's okay.
Well, I'm a little upset because I was going to interrogate you until you admitted that Zach Parise was a factor.
No, okay. No. Here's why he's a factor. It's not, I mean, it's because he was the captain.
Okay.
So the team went to the Stanley Cup Finals. They were used to playing a certain way under that captain. Now this year, they enlisted Salvador as the captain. And it's just getting used to, like, a new leader. It's not, listen, I don't miss Parise's skill. The Devils were winning in the beginning of the season.
I understand that you don't miss Zach Parise. I'm just saying that maybe some of the other players miss Zach Parise a little bit, like Adam Henry. He was not nearly as productive this year as he was in his rookie season, and a lot of his assists came from Zach Parise. And so maybe, that's a contributing factor.
This is what I think. Next season, I wrote an article about this too, so stalk my Twitter and read my article as well. But the Devils, I think, are going to bounce back stronger than ever, and I don't think that nobody expects it any year. Everybody hates the Devils. But I think as long as, first and foremost, they have to re-sign Patrick Elias. He is, whether he has the C on his chest or not, he is just the quiet leader of this team. He's a Hall of Famer. He's the heart and soul, like, for so many fans. And he's still one of the best players. So there's no reason for them not to re-sign him. But, there's just some kind of chatter going on. So that needs to happen. And then, next season they'll also be healthy again. So that's going to be huge. And, they have a ton of talent in the juniors, which are going to come up. Merrill and Boucher, everybody's excited for them. We need some young defensemen, too. So I think we're going to be fine next year. I really, truly do.
So you're not talking about Marty, who I think is the heart and soul of the team.
Well, he is. But I mean, when you're playing in that position, and when he went down, we definitely saw it because, oh my God, our backup goalie was just, he aged me 10 years. It was horrible. Oh my God. Like, I don't know if he's going to come back next season because they're allowed to buy out this year. But I hate to say, he started out as a great backup goalie, but he was brutal. So if we have, Marty not play as much next season, or if he gets injured again, I can't go through that again.
How many years do you think he has left in him?
Who, Marty?
Yeah.
Well, next year is the last year of his contract, right. And I'm thinking that that's going to be the last year, which is also the reason that I finally got on board and bought season tickets, because, like, I want to be there for as many games as possible.
Sure, makes sense.
So I kind of hope that that's also, like, a factor. I kind of hope almost there's, like, a Ray Lewis type of factor where it's like, oh, come on, do this for Marty. And at least Marty's never killed anybody. He's just slept with his wife's sister. So, I mean,
He always danced around the Ray Lewis, quote-unquote, killing. Allegedly. But Laura just straight out and says it.
Listen, I'm just saying, Marty's never, I didn't say Ray did, I'm just saying Marty never did. Yeah. So he just married his sister-in-law or whatever, some kind of strange situation there. But, I mean, yeah, the players love him. He's the greatest. That's not even debatable in my mind. So hopefully next season, at least if anything, they'll really give it a good run. I am not used to my team being bad. Like, this is only the fourth year, granted twice in 3 years, but this is only the fourth year in, like, 25 years, and they haven't made the playoffs. And, like, it's just like, I don't know what to do with myself now,
Yeah, well, I appreciate that you're so optimistic about next year.
Yeah, I mean, what else am I going to do at this point? So
sit on the couch and tweet.
Yeah, but I guess I jumped ship to, although I did say my Stanley Cup final predictions were Anaheim against Boston, and I said Boston was going to win before all this Boston stuff happened, like, weeks ago, right? And I still kind of have that in the back of my mind, but, until then, I'm going to root for the Blackhawks in Chicago.
Of course you are.
Yep. So, anyway, but it is exciting that the Islanders are going to be in the playoffs.
Exciting? Okay.
Well, I mean,
fine. Good for them. They haven't done this in a long time. They haven't been this good in quite a lot of years, so good on them.
I mean, it's, like, so annoying because I feel like it's exciting for the team and the franchise. And there are, like, maybe 2 or 3 fans that I know that were, like, really diehard or whatever. But to the ones that are just getting on board, Listen, you can just go back home. I have no use for you.
Sometimes people are just in hibernation because there's nothing good to say about their team, so they don't want to be saying anything at all.
Do you know how many Devil losses I watched this year at the Rock? It was insane. I kept going back for more. Yeah,
you are a masochist.
Yes, that is true. That is true. I don't know.
I would do the same thing for the Rangers if it didn't mean that I had to commute into the city, and their tickets are obviously a lot more expensive because it's MSG.
Yeah.
But
so I guess we'll just also monitor what the Rangers are doing and what Winnipeg's doing, and oh goodness.
Well, we have exciting news for the Rangers, which is that Mark Stahl he's been skating with the team as of I think last week. So they're kind of hopeful that he might be available should the Rangers make the playoffs.
Okay.
So that's kind of exciting because we've been following this injury, and it's really just nice to see his resilience and perseverance and that he's just recovering so well.
Yeah, that is true. And when, you do suffer an injury type injury like that. Anyway, I can't speak right now, sorry.
Well, it has been an hour already.
Yeah, that's true. This is like over our time, so forgive me. But it's nice to see somebody bounce back and get back in the game. So that's good. I hope he does get to come back.
And he's had a rough year because he was coming off of a concussion.
Yeah.
And then he was just getting his game back as he's doing so well, and then boom, hit by a puck in the face.
Yeah,
that's just has to suck.
Oh my God! Which, speaking of, I think I read somewhere early that it looked like Sidney Crosby was coming back as well. I think they said he's going to start. The Devils are playing the Penguins tonight, but it said that he was going to start skating with the team tomorrow, I believe. So, here's a shocker: the Devils are losing. Oh, God. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. I don't even know why I watch anymore or why I check anymore. But so I guess we will see how that plays out, how he does in the playoffs. And I mean, the team's been doing all right with Adams, so now he gets to come back to the playoffs. And I'm sure it's going to be this whole heroic thing, according to the NHL.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. I can't wait to watch all about it during the playoffs. And then, in the West, I guess.
Well, no big surprise. I mean, the Blackhawks are just killing it.
They're winning the President's Trophy, so congratulations to them and all their fans. Although I still think when I was at that game, I went to Chicago in the Kings game. Gosh, that arena was so quiet. And I mean, guys, I'm a Devils fan. We don't have the greatest, rep as a fan base or whatever. Like, everybody thinks that, we kind of stink. But let me tell you, our arena was a heck of a lot louder than these Blackhawks fans.
I don't know. I just have to say that the East Coast, I feel like the fans on the East Coast are crazy. And we're loud and we are obnoxious. And brutal.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and, I said East Coast because it's not just New Jersey and New York. It's totally like Boston, Philly, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going there. Even Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I just feel like especially with the Devils, we have all our own chants for, penalty kills and just when certain players are on the ice and stuff like that. And I just didn't really get any of that from the Blackhawks. But I will say, good on them for, finishing overall in the league the best. And I hope that they get it deep into the playoffs. That'll be exciting to watch. If Detroit can make the first round of the playoffs, that'll be nice to see, I guess.
No, I want to see Columbus.
Oh.
I guess personal reasons, because they've got Dubinsky, and now they've got...
Because they're like junior Rangers?
Yeah, they are. I love it. They've got Gabby. It's great. I want to see them make the playoffs. That'll be fun.
They have 4 fans, so I don't really... think that their town will even care. If it, you know what I mean? At least Detroit is literally hockey town. So.
Yeah, womp. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care about the city of Detroit or anything like that or their fans. I care about me.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Cool.
I'm just kidding. Actually, I like Michigan a lot. Much love. One of my best friends is from Michigan.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh gosh, so there's just a whole bunch to see. And you know what? Either way, listen, whether my team is in it or not, that there's nothing better. I don't care what anybody tells me. There's nothing better than playoff hockey. It is just so scrappy and there's so much fight. Oh, it's awesome. I can't wait to watch it. So now we can move on to much slower sport, the regular season of baseball.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start with my Metsies, who lost today because, my goodness, can we please maybe get one person in the bullpen that knows what they're doing. I was at work today when the game was on. I get the text updates or whatever, and it's just brutal. 1-1 going into the ninth, and then all of a sudden the Mets are down 3-1. Like, it's just absurd. Like, your job is to get like 3 or 6 outs. Like, do it correctly, do it well. So I hate to see
you're
stuff
preaching
like
to
that.
the choir, because the Yankees have notoriously the past few years had a very tough time with their bullpen as well.
Yeah, well, at least you had a solid closer. At least you had that going for you.
Depressing. We're losing him, so then it's like this is why I put so much stress on the whole Marty thing, because I really worry about life as a Yankee post Mariano.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Going back to Marty real quick, like, I dread the post Marty days. Not even just for like level of play, but it's like that's. I mean, since I can remember as a kid growing up, like that was our goalie.
Sure.
So, and that's the same thing for you and Mo. Absolutely.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves, because let's talk about positive stuff with the Mets.
Okay, like
Matt Harvey.
Yes,
even I like him.
Oh, good. I think. Oh, you know why you like him? And I don't know if you know this. He hangs out with Henrik Lundqvist. They like jam out together.
Now I love him.
See, I knew it. I meant to tell you.
First, I liked him because he's just a really great rookie pitcher.
Yeah. I think it's hysterical because I was so just not on board with him in the beginning, and I just wanted to be negative Nancy because that's how I roll, glass half empty. But he is electric. I went to 2 of his starts already, and I mean, he is so dominant, and he's just so like cool and calm. Even when he gets into situations with the bases loaded, like he just pitches out of it.
He reminds me of RG3.
Oh boy.
No, not in like any kind of injury prone kind of way, but in that like very like cool, collected for such a young athlete.
Oh yeah, absolutely. His maturity, I mean, even when he speaks, it just totally exceeds him. I mean, it's outstanding. So yeah, he's great. He's fun to watch. I went to the game against Strasburg, who, I mean, this totally unexpected lost 4 in a row now. This guy was like the baby of the Nationals last year, and now it's kind of a mess this year. I guess, that's hard to deal with when maybe you have so much pressure on you too. But, oh my goodness, Citi Field, it was probably the most there was just so much electricity in the stadium, I couldn't even explain it. And then when the Mets finally, like the Mets took the lead or whatever, and they started doing the Harvey's Better chant, that was outstanding. You don't normally hear, like, the chanting is kind of more like hockey games. You don't really get that at baseball games.
No.
And then that was also the night that they captured the second guy from the Boston terror attacks. So there was a whole USA chant going on. Like, the whole night was so magical if you were a Mets fan. And, of course, I mean, it wasn't all Matt Harvey's doing, but it was just like one of those things. Like, angels just came down on Citi Field that night. It was so great. Now, granted, yesterday he gave up, I think it's hysterical. He gave up 3 runs. Oh my God. He gave up like 1, and then he gave up a 2-run home run. God forbid. So, but he proved to be somewhat human. But the Mets did bail him out, and Jordani Valdespin got a walk-off grand slam home run last night.
Oh, your favorite guy.
I love him. I do love him. He takes more selfies on Instagram than I do. So I absolutely love him.
Impossible.
No, I promise he does. So, yeah, so that's, I don't know. The Mets, hey, they're somewhat fun to watch right now. It's annoying because they'll go to Colorado and lose the series, but, then they come back and, beat up the Nats a little bit. So it's hit or miss on any given day. I think when you watch a team kind of with no expectations in your mind and can just enjoy the game, you don't know what you're going to be in for, so you could get a good day out of it. So hey, I'll be at Citi Field. So
it's inconsistent right now, but it's still the first month. So I mean, that's kind of right now the Yankees, they're both over 500, but it's only been a few weeks.
And there's so much. Gosh, like
so much
baseball season is just so long. It really is. And the Mets are usually decent till All-Star break. So, and then it just all goes downhill from there. So, which that's exciting too. They started the All-Star voting, and it's cool because it's going to be at Citi Field, which is obviously in our backyard.
That's exciting.
So that's pretty neat. It'll be exciting to. I'll probably do like the Derby or whatever. This is what I really care about: the celebrity softball game.
Of course,
that's like my favorite because it's just hilarious. So yeah, so that's nice to see all the ballots and the logo and everything like that too when you go to this, and all the merchandise, of course. So yeah, so it's nice. City feels a good time this year, at least for right now. Check back in end of July. I'll let you know how it's going. But yeah, the Yankees.
Yankees are in the middle of the pack right now. It's kind of touch and go. Boston is in the lead in the AL East, and I'm actually surprised by that, but I don't know. It's hard to hate on them right now.
Yeah, I feel like especially like that's
deflated.
Yeah. How about your boy Derek Jeter?
Yeah, he mentioned All-Star break, and he's hoping to be back after the All-Star break because he re-injured his already injured ankle.
That's crazy.
He actually re-fractured it, so he's wearing a boot now. It's just not looking very well for him. I'm hoping that we will get Tex back very soon, and hopefully he'll be productive.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I kind of feel I don't know if I feel bad for Jeter, but like I feel like he's never gonna really truly come back right from that injury, and like you hate to see a player end on that, or like when he comes back, like is he gonna be good, you know, or is it just going to be kind of pathetic when he hobbles to the plate, you know? And I mean, I'm being real, or you know. So I guess you know. And they asked him when his next MRI was going to be, and he said he didn't know. He was like, "Oh, I would have one every day if I could, but I don't know how expensive they are." Not for nothing.
You can afford that.
I think
Derek Jeter.
You could put the bill there.
No, but it's a lot of up and downs with the Yankees right now, and especially when you have a lot of their top performing players, aside from the ones that are injured and completely out of the game. But like CC has not been CC, you know, he hasn't been playing up to his standards, so that doesn't help us. Andy Pettitte is also like on and off again. It's, you know, sometimes when he's healthy, he's pretty great, but he was out for a little while. It's just been tough, and it's only been about a month.
Right. So it's just the Yankees are just another one of those teams. Like, you know, we went to the game. I don't even know who they played, the Orioles, and it's just when you go with no expectations and you don't, you know, yeah, you want to win, but if you do, great, and if you don't.
We had a good time. We saw was it a Brett Gardner home run of all people?
Yeah.
It was pretty nuts.
It was a good time.
But they won that game, and it was fun, a good time. And, like, yeah, when you don't have too many expectations, it is kind of more just enjoying the actual atmosphere. And
I will say this about the Mets, going back to positives, which I'm surprised I even have another one. Baxter, who last year saved Johan's no-hitter, he, you know, when they were making the comeback yesterday, he legged out a double like I've never seen anybody leg out in his life. And I will say this, that the Mets are getting far, far more aggressive with their base running and even the way that they're just kind of playing the game. And I really like to see that because, you know what, I'd rather see, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'd rather see somebody getting thrown out while they're really trying and really hustling and really trying to make a play than just kind of a team playing it safe, because that doesn't necessarily work out all that well either. Mm-hmm. So I really do like the hustle from the team and kind of the way that they're going. It's fun to watch, I guess. It's almost refreshing. It's like watching like young kids or something. But I will say this about the Mets. This one thing that aggravates me.
Okay.
This whole like growing a beard thing. I don't know. I can't. It actually hurts me to watch. Like, especially Justin Turner. Listen, I have nothing against gingers. I love them. I'm Irish, but his beard is just so bushy. I can't. Like, and there's like a couple of guys, and I can't deal with that. I feel like we need to impose a Yankees rule, like where they just need to be clean cut and
I'm all
clean
for
shaven.
it. I like the clean cut look.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add. That's it.
So that being said, so the draft right now is, what are they on? 6th pick? So Manti hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, they're on the 5th pick.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't read.
All right, I'm sorry, but this is you guys who are really just watching this. you have a long night ahead of you.
Yeah,
you know what? Some beers.
What I don't understand is why they start this at 8:00 at night. I think that's kind of
because people actually really want to sit and watch the whole thing.
I mean, that's a long time. This is going to go into the wee hours of the morning.
You know what makes me jealous is that on the West Coast it started at 5 p.m. and you know what? Most people are out of work at that time.
Yeah, that's true. Good on that. That's like I've always been kind of jealous for football Sundays on the West Coast.
It could be rough. I've done a few football Sundays in San Francisco, and yeah, it's fine if it's like a night game when it's like 5 p.m. their time. That's great. But a 1 p.m. game on the East Coast, 9 a.m. getting up at that time.
Yeah, but then like you're home in bed early. No, okay, I'm like 100 years old. These are the things that I think about in my life right now.
So then, I feel like I'm 100 years old too. I don't want to get up at 7 a.m. to start drinking.
I guess to each their own. You mean watching football? This is a family show.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding. But, I don't know. I can't fathom, staying up till God only knows what time, especially this year for the draft. Like, it's not a good class, but I'm super excited. I mean, again, I don't follow the whole junior hockey and whatever. When they start buzzing about who the Devils are going to get and stuff like that, I'll start looking into the players. Like last year, we got Larson, who's great. He's a young kid. Hopefully, he gets more playing time next year. But I'm super excited to go to the hockey draft this year. Like, as a season ticket holder, I love saying that. I cannot say it enough. You guys are going to get
I didn't
so
know that
sick
was
of it.
included.
But, yeah, we get tickets to the draft. Like, oh, my God, I'm so excited.
Well, actually, we have, like, a few more minutes, so why don't we talk about the outdoor hockey games next year?
Oh, my God. A good point. I can't even believe we didn't discuss it because I already told my boss we have an event that weekend. I already told her I couldn't work.
It was on the agenda for last week, but we unfortunately were unable to air last week. So.
Correct. Super excited about that. The only weird thing I think is weird is that the Rangers get to do it twice, which is a little unfair. First of all, if you don't know, every year they do the Winter Classic, so they do one outdoor game a year. But now, next season, they're going to do 5 just regular season games outdoors. So they're doing 2 at Yankee Stadium. The Rangers are going to be in against the Devils. And so technically the Devils are the home team. And since I'm a season ticket holder,
yay!
I already have tickets, so we'll be at that game. I can't wait
so excited.
To freeze my butt off and watch outdoor hockey.
In January.
I've never been more
Yankee
excited.
Stadium. This is going to be so fun.
And then they get to do it again against the Islanders. And then the other game that I'm going to go out to is the Blackhawks against the Penguins at Soldier Field. Now that, yeah, that's going to be cold. That's going to be probably a lot colder.
Your face just lit up like a kid on Christmas.
Because I'm so excited to watch hockey oh, goodness. Yeah, so that's going to be awesome as well. That's going to be so exciting. We also didn't talk about another big game, the games when we were talking about football games that we're excited for.
Mm-hmm. How
about Giant Stadium having the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. Talk about cold. That's going to be cold.
Yeah.
And it's going to be crazy. For those of you who've never really been around this area, it's kind of a really weird area to have a stadium, and it's also like really crazy because so many fans commute in from New York.
Right.
To come in. So it's just going to be such chaos, I think.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about renting out my house.
Oh my God, I already told her, like, I'm going to come over. My grandma lives a mile. First of all, we live a couple miles from the stadium door to door. I mean, literally, we could walk there if we wanted to. But, so yeah, my grandma lives a mile away, and I was like, yep, that's it. I'm coming to your house. So we were having a realistic conversation about it, but I can't imagine boxing up all my stuff for a week or, but it's going to be, yeah, like Liz said, this area is not really set up for in any way, shape, or form. They're redoing the highways now, which were supposed to be done in time. Of course, they're behind schedule. My life is just horrible in the mornings as it is.
And let's talk about, MetLife actually had a lot of problems, and there was a lot of complaints about WrestleMania.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
There. I saw so many Facebook posts about how awful it was, just, I guess, like getting in, getting out. I know, just going to a regular Giants game is really tough sometimes. So I'm definitely a little worried.
And with everything that happened with the Boston thing, yeah, major sporting events for the next little while are security is definitely going to be beefed
very
up.
tight. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, so WrestleMania. Yes, The Undertaker won. That's all I care about. It was very upsetting because for a hot second, I actually thought that he was going to lose, and my childhood just flashed before my eyes. So now I guess I'll be very nervous for next year. So we're going to fly to New Orleans.
It's just never going to happen. We are going to fly to New Orleans and watch it there. He's never going to lose.
I hope not.
No, it's going to be like he can't compete this year because he's dead. Because he's like 90 years old.
He's not 90 years old. He's like
he will be when like they actually have him losing.
End the streak. I'll be so sad. So anyway, on that note, The Undertaker, my boy, we are going to say goodbye now.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for those of you who stuck around for the full 90 minutes. We appreciate it. Hopefully you'll tune in next week. I believe we'll be on at 8 again. Follow us on Twitter, Laura and Liz1640. And, I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Good night, guys.
Oh, my God.